The Garin council chamber was an expanse of shimmering crystal and flowing light. Rows of elder scientists and philosophers regarded Viethek and his team with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. This wasn't just another routine briefing. The implications of the biologists' findings on humanity were shaking the foundations of Garin understanding. Viethek stood in the center of the chamber, his tendrils poised with an anxious calm. His translucent skin pulsed faintly, betraying his excitement and trepidation. "Honorable Council," he began, his voice amplified by the chamber's resonant acoustics. "Our observations of human childbirth and their psychological resilience have led to a discovery that challenges our fundamental assumptions of life and strength." A low murmur spread through the chamber. The Garin were logical, methodical beings. The concept of emotional resilience as a form of strength was as foreign to them as breathing air was to a fish. Counselor RHA Lin, a senior philosopher known for her unyielding adherence to logic, tilted her head.
"Explain yourself, Batak."
How does a species that endures pain willingly represent a new understanding of strength? Viethek gestured, and a holographic projection materialized above him. It displayed a timeline of human achievements, their history marred by wars, natural disasters, and suffering. Yet interwoven within this tapestry were brilliant flashes of innovation, progress, and unity. Humans, Viethek explained, do not merely endure pain, they integrate it into their existence. Their greatest triumphs are born from their most profound struggles. Where most species would seek to eliminate hardship, humans expect it, even embrace it. Counselor RHA Lin's eyes narrowed. Suffering is inefficient. It disrupts progress and stability. Not for them, Viethek countered. Their pain fuels their drive. Their hardships create bonds that strengthen their social structures. Their suffering is not a deterrent. It is a catalyst. Kalak stepped forward, his voice calm but impassioned. "We observed a human father enduring helplessness while his partner gave birth. Despite his inability to affect the outcome, his emotional commitment to his family kept him steadfast. Their culture thrives on these connections forged through adversity." Another counselor, Viesher, leaned forward, intrigued. "Are you suggesting that emotional bonds, strengthened by suffering, give them an advantage?" "Yes," Kalak affirmed, "in ways we've never considered. Their willingness to sacrifice for each other, to endure hardship for the sake of others, gives them unity, creativity, and adaptability." The chamber fell silent, the implications settling like dust after a storm. The Garin, for all their technological brilliance, lived lives of precision and detachment. They avoided discomfort, avoided risk. Was it possible that in their pursuit of stability, they had missed a fundamental truth of existence? A bold proposal after a long deliberation, Counselor RHA Lin spoke again, her tone measured. "If what you say is true, then we have been blind to a critical dimension of resilience. What do you propose we do with this knowledge?" Viethek's tendrils curled slightly, a sign of determination. "We must engage with humanity more deeply, not just as observers but as collaborators. There is much they can teach us about emotional strength, creativity, and adaptability." A wave of discomfort rippled through the council. Collaboration with a species so fundamentally different was unprecedented. Yet the logic of Viethek's argument was undeniable. "Are you certain they will accept us?" Viesher asked. "We are alien to them as they are to us." Viethek smiled, an expression he had learned from humans. Humans possess a remarkable capacity for curiosity and cooperation. They may not trust easily, but if we approach them with respect and a willingness to learn, I believe they will accept us. After a long pause, Counselor RHA Lin nodded. "Very well. You are authorized to initiate deeper contact with humanity. Learn from them, And perhaps, in understanding their resilience, we will find a path to strengthen our own. First contact, reimagined weeks later, the Garin exploration vessel descended into Earth's atmosphere, its cloaking systems disengaged for the first time. Above a quiet field near a human research institute, the ship landed gracefully, its silver hull gleaming under the sun. A group of human scientists, alerted by a carefully crafted message, waited anxiously. Among them stood Dr. Emily Carter, a biologist whose passion for the unknown was matched only by her skepticism. As the ramp lowered, Viethek and his team emerged. Their forms, tall and elegant, glowed faintly in the afternoon light. Viethek took a few careful steps forward and inclined his head in greeting. "Greetings," he said, his neural translator perfectly rendering his tone. "We are the Garin. We come not to observe, but to learn." Dr. Carter blinked, her surprise giving way to cautious excitement. "We welcome you, Garin."
I'm Dr. Emily Carter.
"What would you like to learn?" Viethek's eyes shone with curiosity and respect. "Teach us about your strength, the strength of your hearts and minds. We wish to understand the resilience that allows you to endure, to create, and to thrive." Dr. Carter smiled. "I think we can do that." And with that, a new chapter of cooperation began. One where two species, so different yet bound by curiosity, would learn that sometimes the greatest strength comes not from avoiding hardship, but from embracing it together. The biologists' report on human childbirth had rippled through the Garin scientific community like a solar flare. News of the researchers' collective fainting episode became a source of both amusement and intrigue among their colleagues. Some saw it as a testament to human toughness. Others a reason to avoid Earth altogether. Viethek, however, couldn't let it rest. The emotional depth and physical intensity of the event haunted him, not out of fear, but curiosity. There was something profoundly alien about the human capacity to endure suffering not just as a necessity, but as a choice. "We must observe more," Viethek declared during a team briefing. His tendrils flexed with determination, though several members of his team winced at the suggestion. "More?" Shira asked, incredulous. "Haven't we seen enough? We barely survived the last session." "It's not about survival," Viethek replied. "There is more to learn. We've studied species that reproduce through spores, budding, and even parthenogenesis. Yet none exhibit such a profound connection between pain, sacrifice, and life itself. There's a psychological element we haven't even begun to comprehend." Kalak, who had spent the previous days poring over human philosophy and art, raised a limb in agreement. Viethek is right. Their entire culture is infused with this concept of growth through struggle. It's not just childbirth. Their stories, their art, their very history. Everything revolves around enduring hardship to achieve something greater. The room fell silent. The Garin prided themselves on their advanced intellect and precise methodologies, but emotional complexity was not their forte. For all their technological superiority, they had never truly embraced or even understood the concept of personal sacrifice. "What are you suggesting?" Shira asked cautiously. Viethek's eyes glimmered with resolve. "We've observed their biology. Now we must study their minds." The psychological expedition weeks later, the team's ship hovered in low orbit above Earth. Viethek and Kalak had devised a plan to interact directly with humans, employing neural translation devices to bridge the language gap. They selected a small community hospital as their observation site, ensuring they wouldn't disrupt anything critical. Disguised using holoprojectors to appear as slightly odd-looking humans, the team entered the hospital late at night. The bustling energy of the maternity ward surprised them. Doctors, nurses, and family members moved with a kind of organized chaos, each fulfilling their role in the intricate dance of care. The aliens gravitated toward a waiting room, where a young father sat nervously, clutching a cup of coffee. Viethek approached him cautiously. "Excuse me," he began, his neural translator rendering his words into a casual, conversational tone. "You seem tense." The man looked up, startled but too preoccupied to question the stranger's appearance. "Yeah, my wife's in there giving birth to our first kid. I'm trying not to freak out." Viethek tilted his head, genuinely puzzled. "You are not directly participating in the process. Why does it cause you distress?" The man gave a nervous laugh. "I mean, it's my kid, right? My wife's in pain, and I can't do anything about it. I'm just sitting here, hoping everything goes okay." Kalak leaned in. "And this helplessness, you endure it willingly?" The man raised an eyebrow. "Willingly? Well, yeah, that's part of being a parent, isn't it? You stick it out, even when it's hard." He paused, looking at them curiously. "You guys aren't from around here, are you?" Before they could respond, a nurse entered the room. "Mr. Carter? Congratulations. It's a boy. Both mom and baby are doing great." The man shot to his feet, tears brimming in his eyes. Without another word, he dashed off to meet his new family. Understanding the unfathomable back on their ship, the team gathered to discuss their findings. "It's not just biology," Shira said, her voice tinged with awe. "It's emotional resilience. They willingly endure suffering, not just for themselves, but for others. It's a form of strength we've never encountered before." Viethek nodded. "Their entire existence is defined by this paradox. They are fragile yet unbreakable, vulnerable yet impossibly strong. They suffer, yet find joy in that suffering." Kalak added, "It's no wonder they've thrived in such a hostile environment. Pain doesn't weaken them. It binds them together, fuels their creativity, and drives their progress." The team submitted a second report to the Garin High Council. It concluded, humanity's true strength lies not in their biology, but in their capacity for sacrifice and connection. To understand them is to redefine our understanding of what it means to be resilient. They are a species unlike any other, and they warrant both caution and reverence. For the Garin, it was a humbling revelation. And for Viethek, it was only the beginning. The sterile, metallic observation room aboard the Garin exploration vessel was filled with the scent of antiseptic. Hovering holoscreens displayed a magnified image of the event taking place below, a human childbirth in progress on Earth. The team of 6 alien biologists, experts in xenobiology from the Garin species, observed intently. Dr. Viethek, the lead researcher, adjusted his neural interface, sending an influx of calming neurotransmitters into his system. He had prepared for this. They all had. But nothing could truly ready them for this. "This is supposed to be a common procedure for humans?" Viethek muttered to his assistant, Shira, his tendrils quivering with discomfort. "Yes," Shira confirmed, her voice wavering. "Humans refer to it as natural birth." The holofeed zoomed in on the human mother, her face contorted in pain, sweat beading her brow, as she gripped her partner's hand. The sounds were visceral. Screams, groans, panting breaths. The female's body strained, muscles tightening in waves as if she were waging an internal war. Dr. Viethek's emerald-hued eyes widened. "The pain. It is beyond any acceptable limit. Why do they endure this voluntarily?" The team's cultural expert, Kalak, struggled to respond. "It is considered a beautiful, life-affirming experience. They view the pain as a part of the process, a testament to the strength of the parent." "Strength?" Viethek's voice cracked. "They are splitting their bodies open. The trauma is immense. How can—" Suddenly, a new wave of anguished screams echoed through the hollow feed. The mother pushed with everything she had, muscles rippling, her body reaching the limits of endurance. The head of the infant began to crown, and the visual clarity of the holofeed made it all too real.
Batax pariparal vision dimmat.
A nauseating heat surged through his body. His tendrils twitched erratically. He couldn't look away as the infant finally emerged with a wet gasp, covered in blood and amniotic fluid. A sharp, wailing cry filled the room. Vithek's 3 hearts faltered. Thud. He collapsed to the floor unconscious. One by one, the rest of the biologists followed. Shira's eyes rolled back as she toppled, and Kalak let out a strangled gasp before hitting the ground with a muffled thump. When Vithek regained consciousness, the ship's medical AI was assessing him with an air of clinical detachment. His neural implants buzzed softly, restoring his equilibrium. What happened? Vithek groaned, embarrassment seeping through him. The AI's monotone voice replied, "You experienced a physiological shock response to observing human childbirth. The rest of your team is recovering." Vithek sat up shakily. How can such a brutal, chaotic process be survivable, let alone celebrated? The AI's tone shifted slightly, almost as if it were pondering the same mystery. Humans are resilient. Their biology embraces adversity. Pain and survival are intrinsically linked to their evolutionary success. Vithek took a moment to process this. He remembered the mother's expression after the ordeal, the pain receding, replaced by overwhelming joy as she held her newborn to her chest. Her tears of relief, the partner's awe-filled gaze. It was as if the suffering had been worth it. Perhaps, Vithek murmured, we underestimated them. Later, when the team reconvened, albeit with slightly paler complexions, they agreed to file their findings with an addendum. Asterisk, the resilience of humanity extends far beyond their physical capabilities. Their willingness to endure such pain for the sake of new life is both terrifying and profoundly admirable. Proceed with caution and respect when studying this species. Asterisk Vithek sealed the report, a new wave of reverence in his hearts. In the vast universe, some forms of strength were incomprehensible, and humans, it seemed, had mastered them all.